Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Brendan Plays. This is Total Extreme Wrestling. We are going to recap our AEW New Year's Smash special as we approach week number 2 of January 2021. Let's get straight into it, shall we? Let's take a look at New Year's Smash. We had a 70 rated show, 1,000 people in attendance, 155,000 buyers, which is quite significantly lower than what we usually do. We had a main event of Moxley versus Rey Fenix for 72. Other matches on the show included MJF beating Darby Allin for 68. FTW took on the Hardys for 66. The Hardy Boys won that one, of course. And the TNT Championship finale, Park defeated Lance Archer for 67. Well, of course, we also saw Jurassic Express winning the the Tag Team Championship #1 contendership tournament. Jurassic Express defeating Best Friends for 61. So overall, we advanced our storylines. We finished off a few more. Hopefully, we have some good popularity changes. So let's have a look. Not sure what's really going on. We've seen a lot of releases from Ring of Honor. Alex Shelley won, Dragon Lee, Mark Hastings. So let's take a look at what happened in Ring of Honor. Looks like they're kind of clearing house a little bit. Joe Henry, PJ Black, Flip Gordon, Brody King. There has been a lot of releases. I mean, Jim Cornette, he just became the head booker, and he walks into the company and says, you know what, I don't want you, I don't want you, I don't want you, and got rid of them all. So that's a lot of guys released from Ring of Honor. PJ Black, he might still have a bit of value, 43 pop. But of course, let's go ahead and check out if there was any popularity changes coming out of our big show. So New Year's Smash, of course, we had the big segment there with the Elite. Chris Jericho's up to 86 pop. I don't think that's from that show, though. But Cody Rhodes at 68. That is a small little jump for him. So 68 now in the Southeast as we move down the card. MJF at 65. So despite the fact that, he doesn't have the belt around his waist anymore, he's still finding ways to gain popularity. And I feel like this feud at the moment with Sting is working pretty well. So I'm happy with that. Speaking of Sting, he's at 79 popularity. Remember, he came in at 77, so he's gained 2 pop already since coming to AEW, which is fantastic. Brian Cage at 54 popularity, so he's gained popularity even though he took a loss at the pay-per-view, so that's always promising. No change for FTR despite the fact they had the big run-in and attack angle. Lance Archer, he's at 55 in some areas, 54 in others, so he has still remained quite steady with some small increase in other areas. Miro 62-63. Park got the big win. He's at 58 now, but no change after beating Lance Archer, unfortunately. Rey Fenix at 52 in the Southeast, which is 1 higher than where he was. So a small little gain for Rey Fenix as well. So he's well and truly right there in the mid-card. He's not far away, I feel like, from moving from the mid to maybe the upper mid-card level. Awesome Kong's gained popularity. Hallelujah. She was down to 36. She's back to 37, thank goodness. Jungle Boy, 46 now in the Southeast. He is a star ready to go. He is ready to really make that next leap. In fact, he's actually gone ahead of Darby Allin, which is surprising because I obviously see Darby Allin on a little bit of a higher pedestal, but Jungle Boy's right there. And Luchasaurus too, but Jungle Boy in particular, he's the real star, I think, in the group. So I'd like to hope that maybe we got a little bit of popularity out of Will Hobbs. So he's now at 32. Okay. So he's at 27, and he's now bumped to 32. So that is very, very promising. So he's still got this cool momentum. I don't know why. He hasn't lost that many matches as of late. So he's 8-2, yet he still has bad momentum. So I just guess, he needs a few more major wins. A big win there over Sean Spears, who's obviously dead in the water. His career is all but done with us. 33 pop now, dropping down from 35, 36. So it's not a bad drop, actually. He didn't lose a lot, considering Will Hobbs gained quite a bit. So Hobbs is right there to really make that next jump to being a potential mid-card player as a singles, which is what we want. If I can get him to 40, then we are well and truly on with Will Hobbs. Ricky Starks now is at 29 popularity, so he was a bit of a letdown in his match against the Hardys just because he lacked popularity, but now he's got 29 in the Southeast and mid-20s everywhere else. He's on the cusp of certainly breaking through as well. Very similar to Will Hobbs. But he's been having some good matches. I feel like if we have him team up with Brian Cage a little bit more, that'll be one way to try and boost him up, that interaction and affiliation with Brian Cage. Financially, so we've had a decent start to the month, of course. $186,000 we gained from the pay-per-view. So it's our lowest buy rate out of all of our pay-per-views. Now, it was considered to be a minor show, so we weren't looking to get, a $300,000 pay-per-view buy rate. We're happy with $186,000 in revenue. That's fine. Ticket sales are good as well. We got to have an extra 500 people in for that event, so that's always good to have as well. So we're off to a pretty good start, I've got to say. I just need, to make sure that we keep on going, and hopefully our ratings can keep improving so we get that little bit extra broadcast revenue, because we're trying to cut down our worker cost. That's been one of the major things I've been trying to do. And it's slowly working. I feel like we're still signing a lot of people, so we're bringing in extra cost anyways. But really, until we get fans coming back and get that ticket sales going, we're not going to make much money. And I feel like if we did have fans, we're drawing 4,000 or 5,000 people a show, we could easily be making money. So that's kind of where we're going down as well. And we could have been doing some live events as well to kind of get a bit extra revenue. But of course, we need to add some new storylines, and we can relate them back to where we're going with Revolution. So we know what majority of the card at this stage, and we've talked about most of those matches already. The TNT title match and the World title match are the ones we need to figure out. And of course, probably adding in a lower card match, maybe trying to get Darby Allin involved, Will Hobbs. We've kind of already done a Future Stars match, bringing in some of the next big guy, the next generation, of young talent all competing against one another. We've kind of already done that, so I'm not sure what we can do instead. Maybe a Battle Royal, I'm not sure, but I'd love to get those young guys in the mix there and try and boost up their popularity a touch. So we'll have to try and figure out where we can involve our Will Hobbs, obviously Team Taz as well. Brian Cage or Ricky Starks, I feel like it would be a mistake if they were left out of the card as well, especially considering that Brian Cage is on a bit of a roll. And he's someone that, we could obviously circle back to Brian Cage versus Jon Moxley at some point. We've done that in the past. It took a long time to get there. It was a 73 rated match. We did that at Fight for the Fallen. Now, obviously, Brian Cage is much better at the moment. And in the end, Brian Cage performed at 68, Moxley at 73 in that match. So in reality, Brian Cage is right there with Moxley at that time. I think Brian Cage could probably hit a 70 at this point, and Moxley maybe 80. So we could definitely get a good match out of that. But again, it wouldn't be a new match. It wouldn't be a unique match. So would it be going backwards potentially? The other option, I guess, is maybe Lance Archer getting himself involved. But if he couldn't win the TNT Championship tournament, why does he deserve a world title match? Yeah, just a lot of questions at the moment. And considering as well, we just don't have a lot of major guys who are heels that are available. Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, and MJF all currently in storylines of some sorts. So then you have to look further down the card. There is Brian Cage. There is Lance Archer. So those are the main two, the best two options at this stage. Sammy Guevara, of course, he's involved in a storyline as well. Unless you go babyface, and you definitely could, face versus face, it works completely fine. But then again, you got Miro, who's involved in a storyline. Adam Page, Rhodes, Hardy, and the Young Bucks are all involved. So, who do you go with? There is just no one of that perfect availability. Darby Allin, yes. Would that be a big risk, putting him involved up that high of the card? It probably would be. He had a 60 in his match against MJF. He's not quite there yet. It would make for an intriguing match, and maybe you could do some sort of hardcore match, considering that's where Darby Allin thrives. But I just don't know if that would be a main event quality. I'm always hesitant to not have the world title match in the main event, but I feel like, honestly, the main event of Revolution would probably be the Young Bucks and the Inner Circle. That's the match. That could be 80 plus. And even Cody and Kenny Omega, that's going to be a better match as well. So maybe you throw someone a bone. Maybe you go, okay, Moxley and Darby Allin, hardcore match of some sorts. And, you go with a little bit of a lesser match to try and elevate someone else for a different matchup. Because, we're just in one of those situations where Moxley doesn't have a top-level opponent until most likely Kenny Omega defeats Cody Rhodes. Then we go with Kenny versus Moxley and that'll be our next big match. So, well, we have an action-packed episode of AEW Dark, all booked. Let's go ahead and take a look at the results. Alright, in the pre-show, we're going to have Serena Deeb talking about how she's a veteran in the AEW women's locker room and kind of talking about her career objectives there. So just a simple little character profile sort of interview there from Dasha, 31 for that one. And we're just trying to highlight some of the different wrestlers who haven't been getting a lot of TV time and trying to give them promos or some matches to try and boost them up a little bit. Also in the pre-show, Diamante defeated Bea Priestley for 31. Bea Priestley 30 and Diamante 27. So with the news that Priscilla Kelly is now joining NXT in real life, I figured I'm going to probably match that. And most likely we'll probably be releasing Priscilla and Bea Priestley. So that should be a little bit disappointing. I thought Priscilla's been pretty good, and I've been looking forward to trying maybe moving her up the card a little bit. But yeah, look, I guess it's just time to go. Alright, the Initiative cut a promo with Leva Bates, Peter Avalon, and Brandon Cutler all backstage. And they're kind of talking about their recent run of losses and how they can turn it all around. And tonight they'll be taking on the Lucha Brothers in the main event of Dark. Alright, we got Reynolds and Silva taking on TNT in a tag team match. 29 rated, Silva 35, Reynolds 31. And they're coming up against the Dudleys, 23 and 22 for them. 29 rated, of course, Silva and Reynolds picking up the win. And, John Silva nearly injured him with a botch move. So, normally it's the Dudleys injuring people. This time it's Silva, which gives me a little bit of concerns that maybe John Silva's an unsafe worker. Maybe we can't have him against some of the top guys. That's a bit concerning. Powerhouse Will Hobbs had a bit of a workout video for 41. Pretty good, actually. That's not bad. So, just a video showing off his strength and how strong and dominant he is. Couple-minute video there. So 41 is not bad, actually. And we had the Acclaimed interrupting the Varsity Blondes promo backstage, and a bit of trash talk between both teams back and forth. So we decided to start a quick little storyline between the Acclaimed and Varsity Blondes. It will definitely be a pre-show or dark storyline, but I figured something for both teams to do, and something to kind of give us a bit of structure for Dark anyway. So 31 to start off this feud. Anna Jay and Tay Conti teamed up to take on Hirsch and Shanna. We picked up the win. Anna Jay picked up the win, rather, in about a 10-minute match. Tay Conti 25, Anna Jay 24, Shanna 27, and Layla 28. 27 match overall. So Tay Conti's a babyface, Anna Jay's a heel, so this won't really work as a team just yet, but I'm still kind of contemplating whether or not they become our next women's tag team of sorts now that Priscilla Kelly and Bea Priestley will be leaving. So yeah, they're not great in terms of chemistry or anything like that, but it's something for both women to do, and it might give them a bit more opportunity because they are a tag team. I mean, look at Priscilla and Bea Priestley; they just kind of got themselves chances because they were a team, So something to think about. Alright, so we had a promo from Team Taz to open up the show as they discussed their loss to the Hardy Boys and their future plans as a group. So 51 rated promo here, Ricky Starks and Taz kind of going back and forth as Brian Cage just kind of stood there looking mean and tough. So, not bad. I honestly believe Taz should be cutting better promos than this. Maybe Ricky Starks brought the segment down a touch, but that's okay. Priscilla Kelly lost to Big Swole in a 30 rated match, so no surprise that Priscilla's going to take a few L's on her way out. So Big Swole being one. So we're going to have Big Swole in a storyline with Nyla Rose, just for both women to kind of get themselves back involved on television again. So Big Swole, probably the lucky winner out of this. I don't think she's got a lot of value, but she gets a win over Priscilla Kelly, who's got 30 pop. Big Swole about 21 or so. So this is a chance for Big Swole to gain a bit of popularity. And post-match, Nyla Rose ambushed Big Swole and beat her down. So that's how we start off that segment. Basically, Nyla Rose, she's kind of been talking about how she's been starved of opportunities and no one's paying her attention, and she believes she deserves a lot more. And someone like Big Swole comes along, gets a big win, starts to make a bit of a name for herself. Nyla Rose wants to squash that immediately. Orange Cassidy took on Anthony Bowens for 46. So we talked about before, the Acclaimed and the Varsity Blondes in a bit of a situation. Well, we had the Varsity Blondes distract Anthony Bowens in this match, causing him to take the loss. and helping Orange Cassidy pick up the win. Cassidy 54, Bowens 29, 46 rated match overall, so that helps out the Acclaimed and Varsity Blondes a little bit in that storyline. We want to get Orange Cassidy a win. I feel like I've been underutilizing him a little bit, so a win for him here today to try and boost him and get him back into the mix. Brandy Rhodes is out there with Thunder Rosa, Britt Baker, and Awesome Kong. So this is a situation where I'm kind of using Brandy Rhodes in a bit of a managerial or an authority figure role for the women. Sting's obviously the main guy, and he's, the top dog. But, we talked about how we're not going to try and overutilize Sting and, put him in every segment that needs an authority figure. We talked about how we don't want to do that. So someone like Brandy Rhodes could maybe represent the women's division a little bit. She's got the most popularity out of all the women. She's got 41. So it's a good idea to maybe get her in there. She might wrestle a little bit here and there, but it's a good idea to get her in there just to kind of see where she's at and try and utilize her popularity and use that to try and boost up the promo. So this is a segment here where Brandy's informing Thunder Rosa that she will be the next challenger for Britt Baker's championship. So 51, and that starts the storyline between Thunder and Britt Baker. Kip Sabian's backstage, and he's interviewed by Alex Marvez. And Kip is, talking about his recent struggles in the ring and his plans to try and turn it around. And he kind of mentions Miro as someone who has been giving him some advice as of late. So 39. So we are looking to do a Kip Sabian, Penelope Ford face turn and join up with Miro. Not as a team, but just kind of as a friendship sort of thing. They hang around one another as we try and salvage Kip Sabian's career. Main event was 60 rated when the Lucha Brothers defeated the Initiative in a pretty good match. Ray Phoenix 72, Penta 63, Peter Avalon 35, Brandon Cutler 35. Good stuff overall, honestly. Peter Avalon apparently has a hot new move, so that's helping him out. Both teams have great chemistry teaming up, so pretty good actually. So the Initiative are not a bad team. They don't have a lot of popularity, but they've got enough to kind of hang in there with some of the better teams as, I guess, the designated job guy team. The Lucha Brothers coming off a tough loss, Ray Phoenix losing against Moxley, so we wanted to make sure that we got him back in the mix with a big win here. Well, I wouldn't say a big win, but a win nonetheless. So 60 rated match. Post-match was the big one though. Eddie Kingston says his family will not quit until they get to the top. 61 rated by Eddie Kingston. So this is our way of addressing the Moxley loss and keeping Ray Phoenix and Penta in the fold. So here's the difficult thing. We had plans for the Lucha Brothers to have some big feuds, but all the top teams kind of already doing stuff. FTR, the Hardys, Young Bucks in a circle. So they might have to go down maybe to Jurassic Express or the Best Friends. Might have to bring them down to those guys and kind of mix it up with them. 61 rated for that promo. Only a 46 rated show. I suppose only the main event was really good. The rest of it was pretty average. So 46 rated for this episode of Dark. Alright, Dynamite is booked. Let's go ahead and take a look at the results on the pre-show. Priscilla Kelly and Diamante with a 40 rated match. This is why it's tough to let Priscilla go. 40 performance from her. Diamante 32, as we gave Diamante the win to try and put her over and give her a bit more pop. Priscilla Kelly, tag team partner Bea Priestley was defeated by Anna Jay for 29. Bea Priestley 31, Anna Jay 24. So trying to get Anna Jay a bit of popularity as well with Bea Priestley taking the fall. Alright, we open up the main show with a 97 rated promo. Okay. Jon Moxley wants a new challenge. He wants to fight somebody with the rulebook thrown out the window. So obviously Moxley, he's just had a big technical match with Ray Phoenix. He's had his issues with MJF. Now Moxley wants to switch it up. He wants something a little bit different. He wants to do something a bit different than what he's done before, and he wants to fight someone with the rulebook thrown out the window in potentially a hardcore style match, which of course leads to us most likely giving that to Darby Allin at some point. So Moxley and Allin is where we're headed for this. And Eddie Kingston is obviously a great opportunity for that as well. We'll have a little bit about him soon. But, Darby Allin's coming off against a loss against MJF. So that's where the difficult thing is. He's coming off a tough loss. How do you get him in contention? Well, he needs to start winning. So that's where that's the plan, I suppose. We're not going to announce Darby and Moxley just yet. I thought originally I was going to do Darby Allin interrupting and challenging Moxley, but, it just wouldn't make sense. Darby Allin's had some losses, so he needs to get some wins and get some steam back before he's got that legitimacy to face Moxley. But again, 97 promo is incredible. Okay, we have it at the show as well with the wrestling side of things, with the Inner Circle versus the Private Party for 74. We tried to make this one a steal the show, and honestly, it probably worked okay. Sammy Guevara 70, Jericho 85, and both members of the Private Party 47. Isaiah was off his game a little bit as well. But a 74 rated match is fantastic. We wanted to get Inner Circle on this show. They haven't had a wrestling presence for a while, so we wanted to get them out there. And of course, give it an excuse to go ahead with the next angle. Of course, Inner Circle picked up the win. Next angle, of course, was the Young Bucks coming to the ring and challenging the Inner Circle. They're tired of waiting. They want their chance. They want their shot. But of course, well, as we know, Jurassic Express, they won the Tag Team Championship #1 contendership tournament. So they interrupt and say, hey, look, we're next in line. You're going to have to wait until we have our shot. And when we win the titles, maybe we'll give you the first shot. So a bit of back and forth there between Young Bucks and Jurassic Express. So what we're going to do is we're going to have Jungle Boy in the main event against Nick Jackson. So a 77 rated angle there. And hopefully the main event will deliver as well. So kind of giving a chance to elevate Jurassic Express that little bit as well by having them do a few more interactions with some of the other top teams. And, of course, they're kind of the underdog in this situation because you got the Young Bucks, considered one of the best tag teams in the world, Inner Circle right up there. So, you got Jurassic Express that have gone through a tough tournament, but against a lot of the lower end teams. So, they're still going to try and prove themselves. And this is the chance for them to try and step up and kind of let everyone know that, hey, we are the real deal. Kenny Omega is backstage with Don Callis. He's at Kenny's house, rather. So a vignette or a video package, rather, at Kenny's house. So, of course, at the recent pay-per-view New Year's Smash, Kenny Omega agreed to face Adam Page if Cody Rhodes would give him the pay increase that he wanted. Of course, Cody Rhodes accepted that, so Kenny agreed to face Adam Page in exchange for the pay bump. And Don Callis was furious, so Callis couldn't be there. He had to be at an Impact Wrestling show, so he couldn't be at New Year's Smash. So that meant that Kenny was all alone to make the decisions, and Callis is fuming that he accepted Cody's deal, and he's going to try and swing a bit of magic and try and see if he can void that contract and get him out of the deal, because Callis believes that, having to fight Adam Page just isn't worth it. It's a bad business decision. It's a bad career move. 75 though between that for this segment between those two, which is pretty good. Both not strong. Callis is a strong promo, but Kenny's really not, and Callis doesn't have a lot of popularity. So good promo nonetheless. Good segment. Matt Cardona defeated Joey Janella. These two have pretty good chemistry as well. 52 rated match in the end. Cardona picked up the win for 47 from him. Joey Janella 48. We actually had this as a wild brawl as well, which probably boosted Joey Janella up quite a bit. Reason for this one is we're going to transition over to a Ricky Starks and Matt Cardona feud. So Cardona's on his way out of the company, so we're looking to have him put over Ricky Starks on his way out. So Ricky Starks, he approaches Cardona and says that he's a jabroni, and Cardona clearly not happy with that, and so he challenges Starks to a match. 50 rated interaction between these two, which is actually pretty decent. We really want to get Ricky Starks' popularity up there. I've got huge hopes for Ricky Starks. I think he's a star. The fact that he's only got, mid-20s popularity is kind of heartbreaking, so I really want to get him into the 30s and 40s, because I see him as a TNT champ. I see him, right up there as a main event player at some point. So we just got to try our best to get that, ship going, So let's get the ball rolling, and, Cardona might be a good guy to sacrifice to get Ricky Starks where he needs to be. Adam Page defeated Matt Sydal in a 66 rated match. Adam Page 74, Sydal was good though, 48. These two have good chemistry. 14-minute match. Adam Page just wanted to get him out there and get him a win. He hasn't done a lot as of late. We're kind of treading water a little bit until we wait for Kenny Omega and Adam Page for that big rematch. In real life they're doing the Beach Break Dynamite special, which might be a good excuse for us to do something similar like that. I don't particularly like Beach Break as a name, but we could copy it for now. And do a special either maybe televised event or a special episode of Dynamite and have Adam Page and Kenny Omega as the main event of it. That might be a good idea. Jim Ross sat down with the FTR as they discussed why they attacked the Hardy Boys. So JR asked them to explain why they attacked them, but they just refused to answer. They didn't want to give us an answer. They just said we do what we want whenever we want. So we're trying to use Jim Ross a little bit more in this sit-down interview capacity. I feel like it worked quite well for Will Hobbs. So we're trying to do a little bit more with some of the other guys. We tried it with FTR here. Not strong promos by any means. So a 59 is probably fair enough. But, we didn't have a match planned for them this week. So we wanted to also sell the Hardy Boys' injuries from the pay-per-view. So that's why we didn't have them appear this week either. Darby Allin took on Eddie Kingston in a hardcore match. 60 rated, Darby 58, Kingston 55. So this was a bit of a nod to the Moxley challenge. These two match up, two of our better hardcore guys fighting it out as a bit of a nod to that to try and prove maybe, hey, I'm the most hardcore guy. Maybe I deserve this opportunity, sort of thing. Darby Allin picked up the win in the end as we continued to try and push him into that main event spot for at least the time being. Britt Baker hosted the waiting room with Brandy Rhodes as the special guest. Brandy Rhodes says that Britt Baker's reign won't last all that much longer. So Britt Baker's been talking a big game. Brandy Rhodes says she's got something planned up her sleeve and Britt's reign will come to an end soon. So that, of course, will lead to the Thunder Rosa situation. So, of course, Dark airs after Dynamite, so you have to kind of book a little bit backwards. So Brandy Rhodes sets up and teases something for Baker, and then on Dark she actually reveals that Thunder Rosa is her new number one contender. 52 rated though, that's what the benefit of having Brandy in a talking segment. She's not too bad at it, so that's where you can get that little bit extra out of a segment with Brandy involved. Alright, we had an angle with Eric Redbeard, who is now looking to lead the Dark Order for the time being. So he's got them all outdoors in a vignette, in a bit of a social media video posted earlier in the day. He's got them all outdoors, lugging around timber, throwing tires around, doing a big outdoor workout, trying to really get the Dark Order back in shape. And he's kind of doing it redneck country style. So this is kind of the start of what will be a short-term thing. Redbeard as the leader for a little bit. He'll kind of try and, spin, do his little spin on the group. And they might be a bit of backlash. They might not appreciate the way he goes about his business potentially. And maybe that will lead to him getting the boot. But nonetheless, I thought we'll try and do something a little bit different, and we'll see how it happens. So, Redbeard was pretty good though. 43 rated segments, not too bad. Okay, main event was Nick Jackson versus Jungle Boy for 66. I thought Jungle Boy would give us a little bit better of a performance. 53 from him. Jackson was good, 77. I thought Jungle Boy might be able to get closer to 60. And with the storyline heat, might bump this match to 70 plus, but not to be. Nick Jackson picked up the win after a distraction. So I've actually put the wrong person in for the distraction, so that's my bad. So forget about that. Ignore that. But it was meant to be, Sammy Guevara distracting Jungle Boy, so to help Jackson pick up the win. Now, the last segment, we had a bit of a brawl breakout. Inner Circle watched on as the Young Bucks and Jurassic Express brawled it out. So I guess this could lead to a match between these two teams. Maybe after Jurassic Express get their title shot, or maybe the Young Bucks could screw over the Jurassic Express and cost them their title shot when they do get it. 69 for that one. Overall, 68 rated show. Alright, post-match from this week's Dynamite. Let's take a look. We had a 1.05 TV rating, 792,000 viewers, 794,000 globally. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad in the end. I have to appreciate that. So we are remaining pretty steady when it comes to our TV ratings. NXT, 1.9 million viewers. Main event was Io Shirai and Candice LeRae for 81. Kushida and Damian Priest, 81. DIY versus Velveteen Dream and Isaiah Scott, 79. So 3 really good matches on this week's episode of NXT. we might have to lift our game a little bit. Yeah, we might have to. Let's take a look at what else is happening. Priscilla Kelly wants a pay rise. Wow, okay, so she believes she's worth a little bit more. We're probably looking to fire her, so I'm going to reject it, and she is furious. So we are looking to renegotiate with Sting as well, so we're still waiting to hear back from him, and we're trying to make sure that his contract is enabling him to be able to have a wrestling match. So as it stood before, he wasn't able to, so we're trying to renegotiate to convince him to be able to do a bit of a cinematic match with MJF, hopefully. And as we look to wrap things up here, we have some news about Sting. He will sign his new deal, so he's at $5,000 per show, so we need to make sure that we're going to use Sting. We're actually going to use him properly. So it's an exclusive contract, and he will be able to wrestle on Dynamite. He won't be able to work minor shows, so I'm hopeful that he can still do angles on these shows. But nonetheless, we should only really use him on Dynamite anyways. I'm not too worried about that. Originally, I wanted him available to be on Dark, but, if he's only on Dynamite and pay-per-views, that is okay by me. And we're going to try and have Sting versus MJF cinematic match, so hopefully, his skills won't matter too much, and we'll see what we get out of him. The other thing as well is, obviously in real life, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson have been coming over from Impact Wrestling, and I've always been intrigued about bringing them into our roster, and I've decided I'm going to take the plunge and match that. Now, in my game, they're not actually in Impact Wrestling, so that storyline itself won't really work. But what I'm thinking is, obviously, the Elite is still intact in my company, so I'm thinking, why not do a potential 6-man match? Kenny Omega, he's got Gallows and Anderson by his side, a part of his crew, taking on maybe the Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes, or the Young Bucks and Adam Page, a part of that crew. So a big 6-man opportunity there. Maybe you could even crack out the Blood and Guts matchup as well. Maybe that's an opportunity there. So something big there I'm thinking of, and at least, Kenny Omega will have some new henchmen. Maybe this will be Don Callis' big grand idea to try and help Kenny Omega out against the Elite. So that's something that we're thinking of. We've offered them a contract. It won't be exclusive, so they'll be able to work elsewhere. They're at 45 and 44 pop, which is pretty decent. It puts them in about the middle of the pack, so they're nothing too special, but it's good enough that we can at least work with it and potentially do something with them. And also Thunder Rosa, we're giving her a new contract, so we're going to try and make sure we lock her down for a couple of years as well. Again, she won't be exclusive. We'll let her work NWA and elsewhere. As long as the WWE doesn't get her, I'm pretty happy with that. Lars Sullivan, his contract is up. Do we want to sign him? No, not really. Alright, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this episode of Total Extreme Wrestling. If you did enjoy it, please do leave a like on it and subscribe to see more. We're in the midway part of January, and we're really catching up to the real life storyline, so we start to kind of do our own thing as we get ready to, I suppose, have a special event, maybe Beach Break, maybe we'll do that. If not, at least our next big show will be Revolution. Thanks guys for watching, see you next time.